Hello, my friend. If you've recently retired or you're thinking about it, first of all, congratulations. Reaching retirement is no small feat. It means you've worked hard for decades, made countless sacrifices, and now finally have the chance to enjoy life on your terms. But here's something not many people talk about. Retirement isn't always the golden paradise we imagine. In fact, if we're not careful, some of the habits we pick up or forget to let go of can quietly take years off our lives. I've seen it far too often in my years of experience working with older adults. People spend their whole lives working toward retirement only to find their health declines faster than expected. Not because of old age itself, but because of simple, preventable mistakes. And the worst part, these mistakes don't always show their impact right away. They creep in slowly, week by week, month by month, until one day you wake up and realize something's not right. That's why in today's video, I want to talk to you not just as a professional, but as someone who genuinely cares. I'll walk you through 7 common mistakes people make after retirement that could quietly shorten your life. Mistakes I've seen in real people in real lives, often with heartbreaking outcomes. And more importantly, we'll talk about what you can do differently, how to spot the red flags early, and shift your habits so that you can truly enjoy a long, fulfilling, and joyful life in your retirement years. So whether you're already retired or planning to be soon, please grab a cup of tea, find a comfortable seat, and let's have an honest, gentle conversation. Because the goal here isn't just to live longer, it's to live better. Let's begin with the first mistake, and it's one that might surprise you. Mistake 1, losing your daily routine. One of the first mistakes that quietly sneaks up on many retirees is this. They stop having a daily routine. When you're working, your day has structure built into it. You get up at a certain time, eat meals on a schedule. You have responsibilities, deadlines, and a rhythm to follow. But after retirement, that structure can disappear overnight. At first, it feels liberating. You sleep and watch TV when you want, eat whenever you're hungry. But over time, this lack of routine can start to take a toll on your mental and physical health. You see, the human body thrives on rhythm. Your brain likes knowing when it's time to wake up, when to eat, when to move, and when to wind down. Without that, many people begin to drift. They start staying up too late, eating irregularly, skipping walks or exercise, and even losing track of the days. I once had a patient, let's call him Jack, who was a school principal for over 30 years. He had a strict schedule, was always sharp and organized. But after retirement, he said he felt like he was floating. No routine, no goals. Within a year, his energy dropped, he gained 25 pounds, and his memory wasn't what it used to be. We worked together to rebuild a gentle daily routine, nothing rigid, but enough structure to anchor his day. And you know what? His health bounced back in just a few months. A healthy routine doesn't have to be complicated. Wake up at the same time each morning. Have a morning ritual like stretching, reading, or a cup of coffee outside. Schedule meals at regular times. Include 30 minutes of physical activity, even a walk is enough. And set a bedtime that helps you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Routine gives your life rhythm and purpose. Without it, the days can start to blend together, and that slowly eats away at your mental sharpness, physical health, and emotional stability. Let's move on to the second mistake, and this one often comes with good intentions, but dangerous consequences. Mistake 2, letting social connections fade. Here's the second mistake that quietly chips away at our health after retirement, letting our social life fade into the background. Now I know what you might be thinking. After years of workplace meetings, phone calls, and rushing to keep up with people, it can feel like a relief to finally have some peace and quiet. And don't get me wrong, solitude can be healing, but too much isolation. That's a different story. It's not just lonely, it's dangerous. In fact, research has shown that loneliness in older adults can be as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Yes, you heard that right. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, and even dementia. And sadly, it often begins with something as simple as no longer seeing your old coworkers or moving away from friends. One gentleman I worked with, Peter, used to lead a team of engineers. He had colleagues, community groups, and even weekly dinners with his neighbors. But after retirement and a move to be closer to his children, everything changed. He spent more and more time alone, thinking it was just a part of getting older. Within a year, his mood dropped, and his doctor noticed a spike in his blood pressure. What helped him bounce back? Reconnecting. He started volunteering at a local garden, joined a men's coffee group at the community center, and even learned how to video call his old friends. It made all the difference. You don't need a massive social circle to stay healthy, but you do need connection. Here are a few easy ways to stay socially engaged after retirement. Schedule regular calls or visits with family or friends. Even just 15 minutes helps. Join a local club or group that shares your interest, whether it's gardening, painting, or even walking. Volunteer your time. Helping others gives you purpose and brings you in contact with kind, like-minded people. Don't be afraid to meet new friends even later in life. Libraries, churches, and community centers are full of people just like you, also looking for connection. We are social beings. Staying connected doesn't just make retirement more enjoyable, it may actually extend your life. Now let's move on to the third mistake, one that often hides in plain sight and slowly chips away at your health without you even noticing. Mistake 3, becoming too sedentary. The third mistake many people fall into after retirement is this: they stop moving. Now I completely understand why. You've earned the right to rest. After decades of working, commuting, raising a family, and managing responsibilities, the idea of slowing down sounds like heaven. And yes, rest is important. But what's dangerous is when rest turns into sitting for hours every day, watching television, scrolling on a tablet, or simply doing nothing at all. The human body was made to move. Muscles, joints, bones, and even the brain all depend on regular movement to stay strong and functional. When we stop moving, we begin to lose strength, flexibility, balance, and even mental clarity. I remember working with a retired nurse. Her name was Margaret. She spent her entire career on her feet, caring for patients always on the move. But after retiring, she said she barely walked more than a few steps around her home each day. Within 6 months, her knees hurt constantly. She had trouble standing up from the couch, and she felt tired all the time. The lack of movement was draining her life away. We introduced a simple plan: short walks after meals, light stretching in the morning, and joining a water aerobics class twice a week. Within a few months, she had her energy back and a smile that hadn't been there in a while. You don't need to hit the gym or run marathons to stay healthy. Start small. Take a walk every day, even if it's just around the block. Stretch in the morning to loosen up your body. Try gentle exercises like Tai Chi yoga or water aerobics. If you like music, dance a little in your kitchen. No one's watching, just move for the joy of it. Staying active helps keep your muscles strong, improves circulation, supports your balance, and boosts your mood. It's one of the most powerful tools you have to maintain independence and add more vibrant years to your life. And now let's talk about mistake number 4, something that may feel harmless, even comforting at times, but actually holds the power to deeply affect your well-being. Mistake 4, dwelling on the past or regrets. This next one is subtle but deeply powerful. Dwelling too much on the past or living in regret can quietly shorten your life, not just in years, but in quality. It's natural, especially after retirement, to reflect on your life. In fact, it's healthy to look back and make peace with the journey you've been on. But when that reflection turns into regret, bitterness, or sadness over what could have been, that's where the trouble begins. I've sat with many older adults who replay the same old stories in their minds. Decisions they wish they'd made differently, people they've lost, opportunities they missed. And the emotional weight of that can be heavy. It can lead to stress, anxiety, even depression. And science has shown us time and again, chronic stress and unresolved emotional pain can weaken the immune system, increase inflammation, and accelerate aging. I remember a gentleman named Harold. He was a retired carpenter with a good heart but a quiet sadness. He would say things like, "I should have spent more time with my kids," or I should have chased that dream when I had the chance. Those regrets were eating at him day by day. We worked on shifting his focus, not by ignoring the past, but by accepting it. He began writing letters to his children, expressing love instead of regret. He started volunteering to teach young apprentices his carpentry skills, passing on his wisdom instead of holding on to what was lost. Slowly, that burden began to lift. Here's the truth: no one gets through life without some regrets, but you don't have to carry them forever. Here are a few ways to move forward. Practice forgiveness, especially forgiving yourself. Focus on what you can do today, not what you missed yesterday. Write down the lessons your past has taught you and use them as gifts to help others. Remember that peace isn't about a perfect past, it's about how you live right now. When you let go of regret, you make room for gratitude. And gratitude is a powerful force for healing, for joy, and for living longer with peace in your heart. Now let's talk about the fifth mistake, a trap that's become all too common, especially in the modern world, letting nutrition take a back seat. Mistake 5, neglecting nutrition and eating for convenience. Mistake number 5 is one that creeps in slowly and becomes a daily habit before you even notice it. Neglecting proper nutrition and eating for convenience rather than health. During our working years, many of us had to prepare meals for a family, pack lunches, or eat on a schedule. But after retirement, that all changes. For some, cooking for one doesn't feel worth it anymore. Others fall into the trap of frozen meals, fast food, or skipping meals entirely. And let's be honest, it's tempting to reach for whatever's easiest when you don't feel like cooking. But here's the problem: after the age of 60, your body processes food differently. You need fewer calories but more nutrients. What you eat now has a more direct and powerful effect on your heart, your bones, your brain, and your immune system. I met a woman named Susan in one of my community wellness groups. She was in her early 70s and had always been slim and fairly active. But she began experiencing fatigue, brain fog, and joint pain. She thought it was just aging, but when we took a closer look at her diet, it was mostly processed foods, crackers, canned soup, deli meats, frozen dinners. She wasn't getting nearly enough fresh vegetables, protein, or healthy fats. Once she made a few changes, adding leafy greens, legumes, berries, and cooking simple meals a few times a week, her energy came back and the brain fog lifted. You don't need to become a gourmet chef. Just aim to eat more whole, colorful foods, especially vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and lean proteins. Cut back on sugar, salt, and overly processed snacks. Drink enough water. Many older adults live in a mild state of dehydration without realizing it. Make mealtime pleasant. Put on some music, eat at the table, and treat it like a joyful ritual, not just a task. Food isn't just fuel, it's medicine. And every meal is a chance to nourish your body, protect your brain, and support a long, healthy retirement. Next, let's dive into the sixth mistake, one that's easy to brush aside but quietly affects your mind, memory, and emotional health. Mistake 6, ignoring mental stimulation. Mistake number 6 is something many retirees overlook. Until the effects start showing, they stop challenging their minds. When we retire, we often don't realize how much mental energy our jobs used to demand: problem-solving, learning, new things, communicating, organizing. It kept our brains sharp, but once that stimulation is gone and we fall into repetitive routines, watching TV, doing the same activities day in and day out, our brain doesn't get the workout it needs. And just like muscles weaken when you stop using them, the brain begins to slow down when it's not challenged. This doesn't mean you'll suddenly develop dementia, but over time your memory might get a little fuzzier, your thinking a bit slower, and your confidence in handling everyday tasks may begin to fade. I had a neighbor named Edith. She was a brilliant woman, retired school teacher, always curious. After retirement, she said she felt her mind slipping. When we talked about her daily habits, I asked, "When was the last time you learned something new?" She couldn't remember. So she joined a book club, then she started learning Italian just 10 minutes a day. Later, she picked up a paintbrush for the first time in 40 years. She lit up. She said, "I feel alive again." The mind thrives on novelty, challenge, and growth at any age. So what can you do? Read books that spark your interest, biographies, mysteries, history, science. Play games that make you think, crossword puzzles, Sudoku chess, or strategy card games. Learn a new skill or hobby, gardening, painting, photography, even playing a musical instrument. Take a class online or in person. There are thousands of free ones designed just for seniors. Try brain training apps or language learning tools. Many are free and surprisingly fun. Staying mentally active isn't about trying to stay young, it's about staying engaged. When your mind feels challenged and curious, it feeds into every other part of your life. You'll feel more confident, more joyful, and more connected to the world around you. And finally, we come to the seventh mistake. This one's less about what you do and more about what you believe, and it can quietly affect everything from your attitude to your health outcomes. Mistake 7, believing that it's too late to change. The seventh and perhaps most limiting mistake is this believing that it's too late to make meaningful changes. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say things like, "I'm too old for that," or "at my age, what's the point?" It breaks my heart every time. Because here's the truth, as long as you are breathing, it is never too late to improve, to grow, to heal, or to start something new. There's a misconception that personal growth is only for the young. But actually, some of the most powerful transformations I've ever witnessed have happened in people well into their 70s, 80s, even 90s. Age doesn't stop the heart from wanting to feel alive. It doesn't stop the brain from learning or the body from responding to care and effort. Take, for example, a man named George Thurman met through a community program. He was 82 overweight on multiple medications and had pretty much given up. He told me, "I'm too far gone." But with the support of his family, he made one simple change. He started walking for 10 minutes a day. Then he added vegetables to one meal. Then he joined a local senior men's group. 2 years later, he had lost 30 pounds, was down to just 2 medications, and looked 10 years younger. More importantly, he said, "I feel like I have a future again." Whether it's your health, your relationships, your mindset, or your habits, change is always possible. And often it starts small. A decision, a phone call, a daily walk, a healthier meal, a kind word to yourself. Don't let your age become an excuse. Let it be your strength. You have wisdom, perspective, patience, and resilience that younger people are still working to build. Use it. If you believe in your ability to improve, even just a little, you're already taking the first and most important step toward a longer, fuller life. So let's take a moment to breathe and reflect. Retirement is a beautiful chapter of life. It's a time meant for joy, rest, and rediscovery, not decline. But as we've seen, the small, quiet choices we make each day can either support a longer, healthier life or slowly take it away. We've talked about 7 common mistakes: losing your daily routine, letting social connections fade, becoming too sedentary, dwelling on past regrets, neglecting proper nutrition, ignoring mental stimulation, believing it's too late to change. Now, if you've seen yourself in one or even all of these, please don't feel discouraged. That's not what this is about. This video isn't here to make you feel bad. It's here to wake up a gentle awareness inside of you, a reminder that you still have power, you still have choice, and you still have time. Even making one small change this week, maybe going for a walk each morning, calling an old friend, or picking up a book, can set off a ripple effect in your life. And when you treat each day as an opportunity to care for yourself, nourish your mind and body, and stay connected to others, something magical happens. You start to feel more alive. Because aging isn't the enemy. Disconnection, hopelessness, and inaction are. But the good news is they're all reversible. So from one friend to another, I want to leave you with this: it's never too late to choose life. Choose to move. Choose to reach out. Choose to eat well. Choose to learn. Choose to forgive. Choose to believe that you still matter, because you do. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this message touched your heart, consider sharing it with someone you care about. You never know whose life it might change. And if you'd like to hear more gentle, practical advice on living a longer, healthier, and happier life after 60, make sure to subscribe. This channel is here for you. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, a better life in retirement isn't just possible, it's waiting for you.